This is going to be the most simple, straightforward video on bench press leg drive that you've ever watched. You've probably already watched a bunch of different videos on bench press leg drive and you still don't really know how to do it. By the end of watching this video, I guarantee you're going to know exactly what leg drive is, why we use it, and you can literally take these concepts today, apply them to your bench press, and immediately lift more weight. The concepts I'm about to share with you in this video have helped me to get to 160 kilo bench press. I've also coached multiple 170, 180, and even 195 kilo bench pressers using these concepts to improve leg drive. If you would like me to personally review your bench press technique, I will look at your form, I will tell you what is wrong with your leg drive and how to improve it. Top link in the description to hire me as your personal strength coach, or tap the second link if you just want some good bench press programs to go and follow that have produced multiple 4-plate benchers. So let's get straight into the topic. Why do we even use leg drive? Super simple. I'm not going to make it really boring like these other YouTubers. We use leg drive to lift more weight. It's that simple. The best bench pressers in the world all treat the bench press as a full body lift. They know that they need to use their legs. And if you don't, you are literally missing out on half of the gains that you could be making. Too many of you guys, and I see it all the time in my new clients or in guys on Instagram and in my local gyms, they literally lie down on the bench, really chill. They just plant the feet, nice and casual, nice and loose. They're nice and comfortable, right? They got their trainers on. Their whole setup takes 10 seconds. Unrack the bar, they start doing their reps. And that's why you're stuck at a 185 or a 225, 275 pound bench press, because you don't put any thought into your setup. You don't treat it like a lift that requires a lot of skill. You're just treating it like a bro, just lying down, thinking you're on a machine. And it's not the case. The bench press is a very technical lift, and if you put a little bit more thought into your setup and execution, I promise you, you will lift more weight. So why do we use leg drive in the first place, besides obviously lifting more weight? And there are three main reasons why. I'll keep this nice and brief so that we can get into the actual how to improve your leg drive. So the three main reasons that we use leg drive. Reason number one is to reinforce our arch. And we can argue back and forth all day on should we arch, should we not. And I'm not even going to go into like the 1% archers who have got the really huge contortionist style arch where the bar only moves like an inch, because I can't do it, you can't do it. There's no point speaking about it. But yes, we do want some degree of arch in the back when we bench press. It reduces range of motion so we can lift more weight, and it places the pecs in a more advantageous position to produce force, not only because it's a more decline angle, but it also orients some of the fibers in the pecs in a position so that they can produce more force. So yes, we want to arch. Reason number two that we leg drive is to provide a stable base to press from. Like I said, too many of you lie down nice and chill, you put no thought into your foot position, you're comfortable. You need to get into an uncomfortable tight position. You wouldn't perform a squat with your feet all the way out here or with your feet touching, because you know that it's not a stable base to produce force from. So why would you do it when you bench press? We want to be stable, balanced, and ready to produce a lot of force on the bench press. Reason number three is that some of that force that we're applying with the legs is going to transfer into the barbell. If we're pushing back, we're using a nice efficient bar path where we press back and then up. If we're applying force in the same direction with the feet, ideally, some of that force is going to go into the barbell. Even if it's only 1%, that could be the difference between you adding 2.5 kilos to the bar or not, or hitting a PR or not, okay? So those are the main three reasons why we use leg drive. Hopefully by now you understand that yes, we do want to use leg drive and it makes a big difference, okay? So now into the important part, how do we actually use leg drive? And I've seen a bunch of these different videos where they talk about force vectors and all these scientific terms and stuff like that. I'm just going to make it super simple for you, okay? This is how we apply leg drive. Imagine I'm on a bench press right now. I'm in a chair, a desk chair with wheels on it, and I just want to apply force in this direction. So imagine I'm led on the bench, the head of the bench is there, I'm pushing myself towards the head of the bench. Just imagine that you're sat in a desk chair and I'm applying force in this direction. You would do that by pushing through the feet, pushing with the feet this way, okay? It's literally that simple. All you need to think about is applying force with your feet to this direction. This is the head of the bench. You're trying to push yourself towards the head of the bench. I'll get my editor to put a clip on screen so that you can see it kind of illustrated. But that is literally how simple the process is. Now, here is a hack, tip, whatever you want to call it, that will literally teach you how to use leg drive in 10 seconds. Lie down on the bench, get a training partner, or if you want to be really creepy, like go up to a random guy in the gym or something and ask them this, lie down on the bench, go through your setup, unrack the bar, get this partner to put their hands on your traps, so you're led down, they're going to push into your traps, and you're going to push against them. You're going to resist them. So they're trying to push you this way on the bench, and you're just going to push backwards into their hands, okay? Super simple. That will show you exactly how to leg drive, how the sensation should feel, and what direction you should be pushing in. Really, really simple, okay? Now, let me share with you how I personally set up to use leg drive efficiently and how I teach my clients how to do it. And I'm going to show a clip on screen walking through my full bench press setup so that you can see exactly what I'm doing and what I'm thinking about. So first things first, I lie down on the bench. At this point, I'm relaxed. I'm just like getting led down. I'm getting my grip on the bar, okay? So I am first of all going to lie down. I'm going to pull myself off the head of the bench. So the top half of my torso is actually going to be off the bench press. So like back, like off the back of the bench press, basically. I know I'm in position when the pad of the bench press is pushing into my scapula, or it's pushing just up into my shoulder blades, right? So I get myself in this position. Half of my torso is hanging off the bench. I've got my grip on the barbell. I'm going to pull my feet back as far as I can. I'm on my tiptoes at this point. Then once I've got my grip, I'm going to pull myself forward. I'm going to swing forward into my arch. And what I'm thinking about here is creating an arch in my lower back by lifting my ribs to the ceiling, okay? So I'm literally going from this neutral position to this. I'm trying to make my ribs as big as possible, push my ribs up to the ceiling, okay? Once I've got my arch, I've got my grip on the bar, this is where I'm going to get my foot position. For my feet, I am thinking about getting my feet as wide and as far back as physically possible. You do not need to be comfortable to bench press big weights, okay? You need to be tight. So get the feet as wide and as back as you possibly can, all right? If you've got them wide, you've got them far back, you're not tight enough, keep going. And I will literally shuffle my feet wider and wider. I'll pull them further and further back underneath me. If you feel like there's any extra room to pull them wider and further back, do it. Now, the reason I'm telling you to do this is because if the feet are so wide and so far back, one, the legs are automatically on. They're already tight. They're already pushing. Number two, it gives you a really nice, wide, stable base to press from. Three, it will stop you bridging your hips off the bench because there's so much torque in the hips. And if you physically can't get the hips off the bench. Not to mention, if you don't push back with the feet at this point, the whole system will collapse because the knees will cave in, your arch will collapse, and you're automatically like forced into pushing back on the bench. So my kind of preferred setup is to go as wide and as far back with the feet as possible, and it almost just guarantees leg drive happens because the feet are so tight, okay? So let me just briefly touch on a couple like leg drive pro tips and mistakes that I often see with this setup. The first one is people applying leg drive in the wrong direction, and this is why we get a lot of problems with people bridging their hips off the bench, you know, like your ass coming up off the bench, and it's because you're applying leg drive up instead of back. So don't push up with the legs, push back towards the head of the bench. Head of the bench is here, push back, okay? So if I can, like, let me try and not smash my camera, but show you what I mean. So I'm in this desk chair now, right? If I wanted to push myself back in that direction, if I push up with the legs, doesn't really work, right? I don't move anywhere. If I want to move back in that direction, I need to push back in that direction. So a nice cue that might help you is think about pushing your big toe through the front of your shoe. I don't have any socks on, so I'm not going to give you free feet content and show you. But yeah, try and push. So imagine you've got your shoe, your feet are in your shoe. Try and push the big toe. This looks wrong as well. Try and push the big toe through the front of your shoe, okay? That will be a nice cue to kind of help you push in the right direction. Don't push up. Now, this is why when I went through the setup, I said to get the feet as wide as possible and as far back as we possibly can, because then it tightens everything up so much that you are already pushing back, if that makes any sense, okay? So like I gave you the tip before as well, have a partner put their hands onto your traps. That will kind of reinforce which position you should be pushing in. Now, for some of you, this is one final tip. If you're using like commercial gym benches that are really slippery, you will actually like physically slip on the bench. And for those of you, I would recommend that you use a yoga mat on the bench just to make it a bit tackier, or get like a bar grip t-shirt from A7, excuse me, or someone like that. So one question that I wanted to go over as well is, should we apply constant leg drive or should it be like an on and off type thing? So I see this question quite often. And to make it really simple for you, because I see a lot of complicated explanations about this as well, I simply think 80% leg drive on the way down, 100% on the way up. So to kind of explain that, and I'll put a video on screen to better demonstrate it, but basically on the descent, I'm actually thinking about relaxing the legs a little bit. So say I'm 80% on, 20% relaxed. So I'm kind of relaxing the legs a little bit on the way down. You'll see it in a video of me bench pressing. Then I hit 100% when I press and I tighten the legs up. I shove the knees out, I shove back on the bench. So 80% on the way down, a little bit relaxed, and then boom, I really just like, I'm fully on with the legs. And I'm thinking really aggressive leg drive, okay? I shove the knees out, I push hard back on the bench, head of the bench is here, I push back really hard, and that allows me to transfer some of that force into the bar. I find that if I apply constant leg drive on the way down as well, it's kind of hard to figure out, like, did I use leg drive on the press? But if I just go 80% and then I go straight to 100, I can feel like, okay, yes, like I felt my quads tighten up. I can see it on video. I use leg drive properly, right? So if you take anything from this video, leg drive is so simple. To summarize leg drive in like one sentence, it's literally just pressing back on the bench. You literally just want to push yourself off the head of that bench. If you take one cue from this video, imagine you sat in a desk chair and you're pushing yourself around like this, right? That's the exact same force that you're going to use on the bench press. So I'm on the head of the bench, I'm trying to push myself this direction off the head of the bench. We don't need any of these other like really complicated explanations. Head of the bench, we're pushing ourselves in that direction, and hopefully some of the force goes into the bar and it gives us a wide, stable base to press from. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helps to improve your leg drive. It helps simplify the process and helps you to hit some bench press PRs. Again, if you want me to personally review your bench press technique, I'll watch your videos, I'll tell you what to fix. Top link in the description, or just click that second link if you want some good bench press programs to go and follow that have been tried and tested on literally hundreds, if not thousands of guys just like you. If you have any questions and comments on leg drive, post them in the comment section down below. Make sure you hit subscribe so that you see future strength training videos. And until next time, I will catch you in the next video.